Well, did you guys notice? Did you notice that there is no more paint booth in my hangar? Now I have completely torn down the paint booth that used to be right here. There is no more curtain up here. All of the wood from the floor has been removed, so no more painting in my hangar. There's a few reasons why I took the paint booth out of my hangar. Now, one of the reasons I decided to stop painting in the hangar was because that paint booth was just a major hassle. Every time I wanted to paint, I had to set it up and tear it down. I'd have to connect the cable way up there on the hanger and then connect the curtain back up. And of course, before I did that, I'd have to open the door, move both of these airplanes out, close the door, put the cable up, put the curtain up, and of course now with the fuselage, I would have to move that out also. And I'd have to reverse that whole process once I was done painting. And then once I take that cable down, those curtains were just piled up on the floor here, just completely in the way. Now obviously I'm not done painting yet because I still have to paint the wings and the struts and the rudder and probably a bunch of other little small parts like the cowl and the spinner and all that. So I still need to paint, but I don't think it's a good idea anymore to be painting in the hangar. So the main reason I took that paint booth down was because it just wasn't working well. I had one exhaust fan on the door, which really did not move a lot of that overspray out of the booth. And I'm painting with one of these 3M masks. They're like $30 or maybe $40. And when you paint something like an elevator or a rudder or some small part, you're not really spraying a whole ton of paint. These masks seem to work great. When I was painting my fuselage, with 2 coats of the paint, and that's a big surface area, man, my paint booth just filled with overspray. And like I said, that little exhaust fan was doing almost nothing to move the paint or the overspray out of the booth. So the problem I had was it was completely overwhelming this mask. And I'd hold the paint gun with my right hand, and I would take my left hand and basically try to jam this paint mask into my face as hard as I could to seal it up because I was breathing a lot of paint, which was definitely not healthy. And if I grab my paint gun here, you know, when you paint, I'm sure you guys have at least painted something or you've seen people paint. In this case, I'm right-handed, so I hold the paint gun with my right hand, and you'll notice I'm holding the hose with my left hand. Now you do that because your left hand is supporting all of the weight of the hose, and it's taking that weight off of your right hand so that you have very fine control of what you're spraying. So with my left hand preoccupied jamming that paint mask into my face, I can only hold the paint gun with my right hand. So I had the full weight of all the paint in here, the gun and the hose dragging down, and I was trying to paint. And you just don't have as fine of control. And I think that's one of the reasons why I got overspray on my fuselage. I just didn't really have a great control of the paint gun, I don't think. And that's when I kind of realized that paint booth is just not working anymore. The fan's not working well, this mask isn't working well. So there's 2 things I'm going to do to fix that for when I paint my other big parts like the wings. The first thing is I'm going to buy one of those Hobby Air fresh air units. And what that is, I'll put a picture on the screen. It's just a little pump that you can put like 50 feet away from your paint booth, and it pumps air through a hose up to your face mask. So you're breathing fresh air from well outside of the paint booth. It's pretty similar to the unit I used when I painted my first 2 airplanes, and it works great. I've never smelled paint with those, so it seals on your face nice and it works well. The other thing I'm doing to fix that problem is, as I said, I completely got rid of my paint booth and I built a new paint booth. Now, I didn't build the booth in my hangar because I just don't have the room for it. Because once these wings are painted, I want to put the wings on the fuselage, and with those wings on the fuselage and then the 2 other airplanes, there's just no room for a paint booth. So I cleared out my garage and built a brand new paint booth in my garage, and now I will show you that. Well guys, behind me is the official paint shop of the 750th Aerial Surveillance Squadron. It says no admittance, but with my permission, you guys can come on in. All right, let's just open this fancy little door that I made here. Just a 1/4-inch piece of wood that I got from my neighbor Gordon, and I just built a little frame around it. As we walk in, We have an 18-foot long by 8-foot wide paint booth, which is plenty big enough to paint the wings for the Super Duty. You can see this wall here will be my inlet. I have some filters here. I can add more if I need it. I'm not sure what kind of airflow I'll get with that, with those two filters. This rail that you see along both sides, that is where I will hang my row of fluorescent lights so that I'll be able to see from this side, because the wing is going to hang vertically, and I'll have lights along this side too. Now to hang the wings, I've got I bought a 10-foot 2x4, which I've had to cut down just a little bit, and it's secured up here on the posts on both sides, and there's two of them. There's one there, and of course I have one on this side, and these beams are lined up with the flapper-on brackets on the wing. So I'll just wrap a chain or something around each one of those and then hang the wing from the flapper-on brackets. And again, with this, all the lights here and all the lights here, I'll have good lighting on both sides. And then on this end of the paint booth, you can kind of see this area right here, this rectangle here. That'll be a door that will open, and I'll be able to bring the wings and other parts into the booth. And that's also where I will have the exhaust fans, although I'm not sure exactly what kind of fans I'm going to use for the exhaust. I'll still use this one here because it'll certainly help, but it doesn't seem to move a lot of air. But I have it, so I might as well use it. But anyway, obviously I'm just going to wrap the whole booth with plastic, and I think I'll have a nice paint booth here. It'll be clean, and hopefully I'll get good airflow that can bring in air from this side and then just suck it all out that side, and the booth won't fill up with a ton of overspray. And then in my garage, the rest of my garage, I still have plenty of room to park my car and my two motorcycles. And then you'll see up here, the garage, the paint booth is about an inch under the garage door, but it works perfectly. The garage door can open and close and just roll around, right around the front edge of that paint booth, so it works perfect. So there is my paint booth. I just need to wrap it in plastic and then get busy painting. Now, I have wanted to build a real paint booth like this for a long time, instead of just using the temporary curtains in my hangar. And I'm glad I finally did it, because I'm so sick of being unhappy with my paint jobs. On the Cruiser, and then so far on the Super Duty, I'm not very thrilled with the paint because I've got the orange peel in it. I really, really want to learn how to paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like an old car hood, and I'm going to practice painting until I've perfected it. And then I'm going to finish painting my airplane. If you guys remember, like last year, I hit a deer with my car, and I had my car fixed at the local Jeep place, and they did a fantastic job of painting it. And I think what I'm going to do is go see if I can pay the guy that painted it to come over to my house for an hour and help me set up the paint gun and give me tips and pointers on how to paint, because I really, really want to learn how to paint. With this paint booth up here in my garage and kind of out of the way in the hangar, I can leave this up forever if I want and just come in here until I really, really get good at painting. Because even though I said I'm not going to build an airplane again after this Super Duty, we all know I'm going to build another one. And I really, really want to build something I'm really proud of with just perfect paint. Because it doesn't matter how well you can build an airplane, if you have a crappy paint job on it, in my opinion, the whole airplane looks like crap. And my biggest goal in life is I want to build the perfect airplane. And that means it's built well with absolutely perfect paint on it. But I would never ever in my life pay somebody else to paint it. It's something I want to do myself. So anyway, I've got a great booth here that I can leave up for as long as I want until I truly master painting. All right, guys, now let's move on to something maybe a little bit more interesting. I have something in this box that I talked about in the last video, and let's open it up and I'll show you what it is. All right, I explained on the last video, if you want to go back and watch that I have to add a remote oil filter to the back of this engine because the oil filter sits too far back and would hit the nose gear on the Super Duty. So this is a remote oil filter kit from Airwolf. So it comes with a new filter, and then a bag of parts here. I'll just open this up and you can see what comes with it. We definitely have it packed nicely. And I'll let you guys in on a secret. I had ordered initially the wrong one, and I got it and I opened it and realized it was the wrong one, and I had to return that one and get a different one. There's two different kinds that you can get that are very similar, and I'll put the part numbers up on the screen because I don't know them offhand. But one of them is for if your engine has just an oil screen in the back and not a filter, you would order that one. If your engine has a filter on it, which mine does, then you need this one. So here's what comes with the kit. You have a nice machined aluminum piece here. That's what goes into the filter. And then I'm actually not going to open all of this up right now, but I'll just show you. This is the bracket that gets mounted to the firewall, and that's what actually holds the filter. The filter will sit under here like this, which is actually kind of nice because now you can change the filter and without spilling any oil. So we got all kinds of parts here. This part right here, I am going to open this. Where's my razor blade? Because I think this is the part that actually goes on the back of the engine. Let's just get this opened up here. Maybe not, maybe that's, all right, I don't know how this works. One of these goes in the engine, I think. So anyway, like I said, I ordered the wrong one at first, and I talked to Airwolf and they said this is the one I need. So I just have to figure out now. It is a little bit different than my other one. Maybe this is the part that goes into the engine. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyway, this is my remote oil filter kit. Once I get this installed on the engine, then I can get the engine mounted on the airplane. So here's everything kind of laid out that comes with the kit. You can see it has all the fittings and everything you'll need. Just kind of looking at this a little bit, I think this actually goes into the engine, and then you'll have your fittings that come out of here with the two hoses that will go to somewhere on here, right there and there. And then this hangs on your firewall, kind of like that, and then your filter just plugs up from the bottom. So it's got all the gaskets, the backing plate, the angled piece. It even comes with the Loctite, or thread sealant, whatever. It's Loctite 567, that's what they recommend. So anyway, there's all the pieces, and hopefully maybe in the next video I will have this installed. All right guys, thanks for watching. That's it for now. I have to get to work.